All right, guys. 28 years later, this is Danny Boyle's new film sequel. Not really, but kinda to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Just came out. Very highly anticipated by a lot of people, including us. What did you guys think?
I think it's good.
Conflicted.
Yeah, it's going to be very divisive, I feel.
I am conflicted.
Yeah.
You're conflicted. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I
Yeah.
liked it, but I also had some problems.
Same.
With
Some qualms?
Same.
Okay, let's get into them.
it. Okay, well, start off. I wasn't a huge fan of the switching angles every time they shot an arrow at something.
I like that.
Same. I was
Somebody else told me they loved that, and I was like, I didn't.
like that.
didn't either.
I think it was like a cool kind of kill cam you see in like Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, but I don't. That doesn't
Yeah.
do it for me.
Like, what are we doing here?
It was just Danny Boyle. If you guys haven't seen his movies,
I have.
He's very stylish.
Yes, he is.
He's very stylish. He does a lot of different camera techniques and different angles
Multiple
and
things he did in this
perspectives.
movie, I felt like he was just like, you know what, I'm bored right now. Let's try something.
Yeah.
And I like
But that doesn't.
He was
I know,
feeling-
I
he
get
was
that you
feeling
like
himself.
that.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it, but I didn't like just that specific thing.
Yeah.
like
I
where-
think at times he was overly feeling himself in this movie.
Like when
I
they would
disagree.
shoot the arrow,
I disagree.
and then it would just turn to the back, so you see the arrow come out and then like turn red, and I was like, there's too much going. I don't need that much to know that he killed a zombie. I get it. He fucking shot
You
that zombie.
think he overcomplicated the shots? Some of them.
Sometimes.
just
Yeah.
took liberties a little bit sometimes. With
I don't
some-
think so.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't love like how when it flashback, everything was red.
I thought that was
I
cool,
thought that
actually.
looked
didn't-
cool. I
I
thought it
didn't
looked
say
really
it,
cool.
look, I just didn't love it. Like
That one
didn't-
is something when I seen it in the
every
theater.
flashback.
Yeah.
I don't know why every flashback had to be full red.
Well, no, it wasn't flashbacks, was it? It was
Yeah,
No,
weren't
that was
they-
just showing the zombies at night
Well, yeah, but
at night.
Well, it was
to look more terrifying.
Yeah.
but yeah, all of, like the because it was showing how the zombies like evolved basically.
Yes.
I get it. I just wasn't the biggest fan.
That's not what bothered me. The medieval time stuff bothered me.
Well,
it's just like
that was just the beginning because that happened right off rip.
That happened, like, throughout,
Well,
though.
the camera change happened right off rip. That's why I mentioned it first.
no, I'm saying like the old timey black and white
Well, I
shooting
know, but I mean,
arrows,
like,
medieval
as-
times
yeah,
clips.
as soon as
Well, they
they
did that a few times, right?
Throughout the movie, like multiple times. I'm not saying it like took me out
Oh
of
no,
it.
I'm
I was
talking
like,
about the reason I mentioned the like angles changing when they shot because that was right off rip. As soon as they went out, every time they shot an arrow,
Oh,
it was
yeah, no.
doing it, and I was like, "This is jarring right off rip." But then, some nice shots, obviously. Some gnarly ideas and good gore,
yeah.
but and then it was filmed in a way where it depicted chaos and disorientation great.
Yeah.
Like the whole time you could felt like you were in the chaos and like you were disoriented, which I feel like that obviously that's the point.
I got that too. So Danny
And
Boyle.
the music aids in that. Like the score and music like all adds to it.
The music was interesting.
Music was cool. Yeah.
The choices he made were very interesting for the visual images.
He makes a much more cinematic zombie movie.
Right.
Where it's not like so much horror. It's just like, this is going to look beautiful, but with zombies.
Yeah, and it puts you in like the countryside in broad daylight
Yeah.
with zombies
Yeah.
and along rivers and beautiful images and it's
Some
not
super cool
It's
shots.
not something like you said, like you'd expect or typical.
Right.
Very beautiful.
The evolution of the zombies was cool to see, like how they showed like some of them obviously have just been eating for 28 years. So they're like morphed
Just
into these like
sludge.
zombie blobs.
Yeah.
And like those are slow. And then now there's like alphas because like
Alphas
it's
are
been
cool,
long enough.
yeah.
So
I
like,
do
that
hope
was
they go
cool.
into that a little
Those
bit. in
are
the next-
intense, those alphas, man.
But then,
Yeah.
then is it another village was a way bigger clue than anybody could anticipate.
What do you mean?
Because how the little kid is like, oh, is it another village?
Like a
'Cause
fire?
The whole twist, well, not the whole twist, but a big part of the twist is it's just the village. Like the outside world is not what Scotland is. Like
Britain?
no, this was all Scotland. Like that's why it was a small island.
Well, Britain is like the one that's destroyed. All of
Well, like
UK and...
Well, the UK, I think
Yeah.
it was all the UK.
But
Yeah.
like outside of that island, like because there's soldiers, like they didn't know what cell phones
Yeah,
were.
from
Like
US.
it's like no, he was from Sweden.
Well, wherever they're from, yeah, they're not from
Well, I know, but
the
I
UK.
mean, like so, like it's like the village. Like they think that that's how the world is. Like
Yeah.
the people in that village. So it was like how he was like, oh, is that another village? And I was like, oh, it's because it's like the village.
Oh, I see what you're
Like,
saying. Yeah, they get
they're-
sectioned off.
Yeah, like they think that this is the whole world. And then like when he meets that soldier, it's like blew his mind. He had no
Yeah.
idea.
Which
Well,
is...
yeah, it's only that way in the UK, right?
Well,
The UK is just
Yeah.
dunzo.
yeah, apparently, like, and everything outside
Everything
of
else
it
is
is
fine.
back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Europe is okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, so they're just all basically
which
like the soldiers just go there and like make sure everything's still contained.
is a massive gripe I have with the series, because they went from 28 days later to 28 weeks, which I think is probably my favorite. And then they just disregarded that as being part of the timeline, because at the end of that it shows the zombies running to Paris and infecting everything else, and then they went back to that didn't happen. We're just gonna go.
Well, I don't think it didn't happen. I think it's contained. Like everywhere is recuperating. Everything's fine outside of that area, and they just don't know because they're secluded in this village-like state.
No, but it showed the infection spreading. They were like sprinting into the world.
I know.
That was the whole point of like.
Yeah, but this is 28 years after that. So I'm saying the point is everything else is already rebuilt and everything's fine. Like it's back to normal everywhere.
Yeah,
except for where this
that does
is.
make sense.
Like it's
as
been
far as the
28
timeline
years.
goes.
So why would this not be?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was like the village. Like these people almost intentionally.
I think they just disregarded 28 weeks. I think is what happened. In my opinion, I think.
Well, I mean, it's whether they did or not. Even if stuff did get infected, it is 28 years after that. So there's been time to eradicate
to
it,
fix
rebuild,
things.
heal, like
but
to
that
heal.
soldier didn't know any of this even happened. So he was his first like time seeing.
No, he did because he said that like they were there. They're just there to contain that island.
Yeah.
Like so they know that it's happened, but everywhere else it's gone. In 28 years, it's all gone everywhere except for here.
I still think they disregarded 28 weeks.
I don't think so. I think Shaw's right. I think the UK is like in recovery mode or whatever, and everywhere else is normal, sending people in to just
Make sure it doesn't get out again.
Okay.
Which doesn't.
I'll go with that.
I mean, it doesn't make that much sense because if they're sending in troops, just fucking nuke the whole shit, and then guess what? It's all gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like, why are you just coming around sniping a couple and then leaving? Like, clear it out.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
getting soldiers killed and whatnot.
Right.
But it feels like they were setting up like a TV series, not a movie. Like the way this movie played out.
How so?
Like, I don't just how it like could have been broken into like episodes instead of a single movie. And then like the fact that this movie is a trilogy, like 28 years later is its own trilogy. There's 3 parts of it, which makes nonsense. They're all going to be 2 hours long, so that's 6 hours. I feel like it's just a zombie TV series broken into 3 movies instead of episodes.
And what's wrong with that?
Just make the fucking series. Why do a trilogy?
Well, TV's a completely different like medium. You know what I mean? Like,
I said it probably should be a series instead of 3 movies. I don't get the making this a trilogy
I think
before it even comes
there's
out.
more money in the movie.
Also,
I think that's why they did.
I don't like why did Boyle do this one? A different person's doing number 2,
And he's gonna do 3.
Boyle's doing 3. So I feel like there had to be negotiations where he's like, okay, I'll relent. You can have somebody do 1 of them. I get to do 2 of them.
Well, I don't think he did weeks, did he? He didn't do weeks.
No, he
didn't.
So
But
I think
I mean-
he just takes everyone other one off.
Well, I mean, this is a trilogy though. Like it's its own trilogy.
Yeah.
So there had to be some negotiations where like he was like, okay, you can let somebody else direct.
Oh yeah.
Like the
I'm
studio was like, we're going to put this person
Well,
in.
I'm sure he didn't have a problem with that. I'm sure. Whatever.
So you're saying the other 2 are part of this series and it's not a new trilogy? Like they're actually
No, it's
going
a
to be
new trilogy.
No, I'm saying like that story is leading into this trilogy. You were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next movie I think is going to take off from where this one left off.
It's just a weird way. Yeah, but it's just a weird way to do it because I don't know. 28 weeks seems like it's
and
out of the loop.
yeah, I don't know why you would do. Like, I mean, I get if they made another movie after this, but not making it 28 years later, part 2. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, just continue the series, fine, but don't make 28 years later. It's a 3-part movie. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's just confusing.
Then the bird's alpha shot was weird, and it led into a weird, like, fantasy-like sequence that didn't fit in with the rest of the movie, in my opinion.
Bird's alpha shot.
Like the alpha, and then there were like birds swirling like a fucking tornado, and then when he chased them, it turned into like a weird. Like I'm not saying it was bad cinematically, it was good.
I love
Yeah.
that.
But why? It made
I
no
agree.
sense with the rest of the fucking movie.
I agree.
Like it was like a Disney fantasy scene.
Uh-huh.
It made no sense.
What are you talking about with like the
It was like the
cosmic
northern
galaxy?
lights above his head.
It is
like,
beautiful.
It
I
looked
get
amazing.
that. I just said it. Cinematically, it was great. For the movie, it makes no fucking sense. Like
yeah.
during a violent chase scene where the Alpha could get to the village and kill everybody, you just take a sidebar to like, oh, look at this beautiful fairy world. Like it made no sense.
It was an odd
Boyles
choice.
Makes interesting
It was beautiful.
choices.
It was.
It was.
Like, it didn't make sense to me at that part of the movie. Like
I love that
he could've-
sequence.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looked
he could've
awesome.
pigeonholed that into a different part instead of like a deadly chase scene. Like it just
I get
seemed
what
bizarre.
you're saying, but I think it added to that. I think it just made it that much cooler. That was my favorite sequence.
It was
One
an
of my
early
favorite
scene.
sequences.
I love
was very intense. It
connection
turned-
of the water bridge to the island.
Yeah, that was very cool.
awesome.
It was a cool
looking,
concept.
So cool.
It turned into a beer tent at a street fair / church festival real fast. As soon as they got to the village, it was just like every summer weekend at a fucking street fair, everybody drunk in the beer tent,
Yeah.
like partying.
Oh yeah, and then we find out he's cheating.
Yeah, oh,
like
yeah.
it was yeah, I didn't
I said,
expect that.
the Alpha out here just busting out Mortal Kombat fatalities left and
Yeah,
right.
it was.
100%.
Ripped that dude's head clean off
Multiple.
twice.
And then one of the funniest parts to me is that kid used the last bit of his battery life of his cell phone to show that kid his stupid girlfriend's
Yeah.
face. And the kid was like, "Why is her face like that?" Because he's never seen like face injections or any of it.
Shellfish
And
allergy.
he's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like a hot lady, and he's like, "Nah." And then his phone dies immediately.
No, he was talking about like, yeah, someone else back at village has a shellfish allergy.
Yeah,
it looks
it
just
looks
like that.
He's like, "Yeah."
And he just chucks his phone.
Yeah, don't. He said, don't cheat on me with whatever.
The zombie birth, crazy.
That was nuts.
Bold
man.
choice.
That was nuts.
I said
man.
they just love showing that Alpha's hog.
The Alpha train sequence was sick. That was cool. You know, like
Yeah.
Whenever the Alpha showed up, it was very intense. Like
Yeah.
I was
I
scared.
said this Free Willy ass Lion King scene to place his mom's skull at the top of the stack was bizarre.
That whole
Like that
scene
turned into a
was-
Disney movie
yeah, it was
again. Like it was
wild.
just like I'm not saying it was bad, like poorly made, but like just took a big chunk of the movie to just for this kid to pick
Yeah.
where his mom's skull went on the thing.
And it was very Lion
and
King.
that was very Lion
that
King-y,
was a
like-
very the third act or whatever was like took me out of it. Or slowed down too much.
The tone
Well,
shifts
also-
were crazy.
Slowed down way too much.
Okay, I forgot to mention one of my gripes.
That's supposed to be building to like the climax, and there was just no. It was just him getting to that. Him and his mom getting to that guy,
right.
and then his mom dying, and his mom planning.
I will say, I found it borderline silly that he's so protective of his mom, and then she goes with him. He comes back with a skull. Like,
Yeah, and he's
so
here's
quick.
your mom. I'm like,
That was
what
so
the hell are you
quick.
doing? Yeah,
I was like, what if it wasn't cancer?
yeah, exactly. He's not like a. There's no tools. He's just like, she's got cancer. She's
You
gonna
could
die.
have been wrong.
Here's her skull.
Here's her skull.
The skull, the thing, his whole thing of
He
burning
loved
the
just
skulls
making
was crazy.
skulls. Yeah, that one guy, he did it so quick. He just carried his head back, and he came back with he loved making skulls.
Her, she wasn't just even a head. She was a
Also-
whole body, and she came back with a skull. I
This
was
is
like,
just-
what are
He
we
did
doing?
it so quick.
My
Yeah.
one gripe before I get before I get to the last gripe.
I'm sure we have the
iodine.
same.
First of all, in 28 years, only one motherfucker has realized iodine helps you, like, fight off the
Oh,
zombies.
the doctor dude.
He covers himself in head to toe in iodine. The Alpha's the only one that'll fuck with him. Nobody else has figured that out. Nobody one time thought like, hey, this is an infection. Let's see if iodine or peroxide or any other thing combats it. Just this motherfucker.
They might not
And he
have
has-
much
and-
access to it.
And he has enough iodine where he's just covering himself head to toe every day.
Yeah,
Insane.
Yeah, I mean,
dude's in his own little world.
Like it was just a weird thing.
No, maybe the village knew
But
that.
then-
They don't need it.
That's not even that big of a deal. 'cause,
No.
Like who cares? But
yeah, okay.
Just certain things.
them,
You're like,
the pikeys and trackies.
I think we all can agree that that was the weirdest tonal shift, maybe in
end?
movie history.
At the end?
Just
The ending,
parkouring, flipping
the
everywhere.
ending was a completely different tone from the
Yeah.
entire movie, and didn't like leave me excited for the next movie at
Yeah,
all.
my jaw was like on the floor. I was like, what is happening?
Let's be pals or whatever.
Like
just
it's just
the flip Ninja Turtle stuff.
Yeah,
It was
bizarre.
like, what is happening?
and it was and it,
It was crazy.
it's so over the top British, and then Nia DaCosta is who's directing the next one, who I have no problem with. I loved her Candyman, but she's an African American female director, and then this made it seem that the sequel is going to be so over the top British.
In British history and stuff.
How is she going to be the one to direct the middle one that's going to be like super tongue-in-cheek, goofy British?
You don't know that for sure.
Well, I know, but that was the intro to the next movie. I mean, that should have been the end. That was a dumb ending.
That group was odd.
It was a dumb ending in my
It
opinion.
was a weird addition to
and
end
honestly,
a movie like that.
I feel like even if the ending was different, it would have not left a bad taste in people's mouths. I feel like so many bad reviews, if the ending was different, wouldn't, because that's the last thing you see,
Right.
and that sours people on the whole experience. In my
it's just
opinion.
kind of like
bizarre.
baffling. I was just like, that was so weird in the last 5 minutes to have that happen.
It was odd.
Because the whole movie's like somber and dark and sad and like deep and
Yeah,
I did.
then that
think
happens and you're like,
I did think that was odd.
what the hell?
When I'm
but
watching
that was
it,
just, that was
it
my
was
biggest
odd.
gripe. Was the ending.
As I was watching it, it was very odd.
It
With
is
the
really-
blonde hair and just the look and the.
yeah, it was like from like Monty Pythons or something. They do parkour and you're like, this is
But
weird.
then the mom, once she says, "I know a dick when I see one," killed me, because she's like in and out of lucidness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she was like, "What he says? Like his name's Eric," and she goes, "He's a dick."
Yeah.
and she goes, "No, it's Eric. I know a dick when I see one." And then also he's like, "This is a baby." Like, no shit. The little kid just goes like to Ralph
Yeah.
Fiennes. Like, this is a
Yeah.
baby. Like, got it. Thanks. Thanks for reassuring me. It is a baby.
I did like how they explained the how the alphas transform because of like the infection, like it powers them up like steroids.
Yeah.
Basically they said, which is
That-
cool.
That was cool.
I hope they explain it a little more.
Well, also,
Like the
Some of
hierarchy
it works
of-
like steroids.
not a great, but I liked that Ralph Fiennes is his name, right?
Ralph or Ray, or
Yeah.
I think it was one of them.
He said when they said that this baby was born from a zombie, but it's not a zombie because like whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I thought that might happen," because he's a doctor, but I wish he would have explained it at least a little bit why he thought that would happen.
I think he said the power of the placenta is what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah. But
That
like,
is what he said. I
But I
remember
wanted like at least a little bit of like,
Yeah.
this is why I thought that would happen, not just the placenta.
I think they were just like, accepted this is happening.
but it was
we're not going to explain
it was very cool.
The placenta
that he-
is magical.
Yeah.
It was very cool that he was just like, "Oh, I thought that might happen,"
Yeah.
and then was like, "Yeah, it checks out."
I thought it was. It kind of bothered me that they took the father out of it like halfway through, and he was just
Made him an a-hole?
Not yeah, it was just not a part of it anymore.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It was just a kid and the mom.
Well, it started as like a coming of age story.
Also,
like the kid was learning how to
did the-
be a man.
Yeah.
And then
dad-
they're just like, we're done with that.
Did
he
the
was
dad-
just immediately a man. He's like, seen him cheating. He's like, get the F out of here.
Come on, Mom. You didn't want to go out there. You didn't want me going out there, but we're going now.
Yeah.
Did the dad remind you of the dad from The Walking Dead?
A little bit.
Like in certain parts, I was like, dude, this is like I could see memes of the car, like those memes, and I was like, that's this guy when he had like just certain shots because he had the same hair and the facial hair. I'm like, dude, they could make memes of this where it's just Rick.
That guy's a good actor. He should have been in more movies.
He is.
I mean, he was-
rumored to be the next Bond.
He was in Craven the Hunter, right?
yeah,
and it
he's in a lot of stuff.
I've
rumored
heard
to be
it's
the next
terrible.
Bond. I hope he is because the other rumor
Because
is
you
Tom
don't-
Holland.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
because you don't,
Tim Allen?
you don't want any of that funny business. You don't
Nah.
want a woman. You don't want.
Ari Taylor Johnson or bust. That's it. No, I'm kidding. No, but I.
Oh, dude, if Tom Holland is Bond, we're making you see it day one.
You'll see it.
Yeah, I'll probably see it. Whatever.
No, we're making him go day one. We'll go to a midnight screening.
I said I'll see it. You're like, you're making me.
Yeah. No, we're gonna make you go day
I
one.
said I'll go.
You said you'll see it. That usually means on your own time. We're taking you midnight screening. We're gonna go to the West Coast. Wait, East Coast is sooner. We're gonna go somewhere where midnight we'll see it.
We're gonna go to the London premiere.
I think I like
We're gonna go to the broccoli families screening of it.
my zombie movies like more horror, I guess, because 28 Weeks is full horror, and I like that the
You
best.
think?
28 weeks
weeks
I
is
think
like
28
crazy.
weeks leans into action.
action. It's like yeah,
it's an action horror,
Yeah.
but it's way scarier because when the dad gets infected, he
it
full
was
on
balls
like
to the wall. Like
gouges
28.
her eyes out. And
I can
punches her
understand
and-
people not liking 28 Weeks Later as much because it's like more actiony, like almost cheesier. Because the first one is just serious
Yeah.
and
Straight
like
dark horror.
and shot on purpose bad, so that like it's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And then 28 Weeks is like
Higher production,
cheesy,
bigger
and, like,
budget.
the CGI like at times is over the top.
It's more entertaining.
but I love it.
Yeah, like the
But
helicopter
I
thing.
would get
I
people
love it, yeah.
that love the first one not loving the second one.
Yeah,
But-
I get that too.
Is this to me is the worst of the three so far?
I disagree. I think, in my opinion, I think it's probably tied for first or second best. That's just me.
I'm with you. I think it's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, it's not
But
bad
that doesn't mean it's
movie,
bad. I like it.
But honestly, there were parts of weeks where I was like, I don't love this, and then they would bring you back with something crazy, and I was like the fucking helicopter chopping them.
You
I was
love
like,
it.
this rocks.
You love it.
I'm back. I'm back in.
Brain
Yeah, yeah.
blood everywhere.
I'm locked in.
Yeah.
I just love some of the shots in this. Like,
I do get that.
like
Cinematically, it is crazy.
Yes.
Boyle, like, he puts the camera where you wouldn't think to put the camera, and that's what makes him unique in all of his movies.
Well, yeah,
like,
and he tries things.
That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to do that. Oh, he put it there? Oh.
I don't
Oh,
think
so.
yes,
I
I don't
does.
think
Look
so.
at
Yes,
look
he
at that
does. No,
I don't.
blocking.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Look at the shadows in the sunlight.
look,
No,
look at the leaves in the
No,
forefront.
He does.
I think he puts it places and he lights it in ways that you don't. It doesn't pop into your head first to do, and that's what makes him unique.
No, he wants film school people to be like, oh, I knew it.
And it
I wouldn't have
works.
done it.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Exactly.
He's great. I
He
love
is great.
Danny Boyle. He's a very underrated director.
I love the shot on the
funny-
horizon of like the zombies and the alpha out there,
so
like
cool.
just standing there.
The
It looks
funny
awesome.
thing
The
to me-
silhouettes,
Yeah.
man,
The funny thing to me is like
very Attack on Titan inspired.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
shot.
you can just look at reviews of this and like you'll see one that's like the most Danny Boyle movie I've ever seen, and the next person will be like, didn't feel like Danny Boyle to me at all. And it's like, what is happening? Like literally, it's just so like such
Divisive?
polarizing opinions,
Yeah.
and but like it's like you both watch the same thing.
If I didn't know Danny Boyle directed it, I could watch that and tell you that's Danny Boyle.
Yeah,
He's got a very
yes.
unique
It's either
style.
Danny
He
Boyle
does.
or somebody that studied Danny Boyle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very unique style. And but
He's a very polarizing director, divisive wise. Got Train Spotting and 28 Days. Train Spotting's like,
Trainspotting's great, but
Insanity.
it is dark.
Yeah.
that is one I haven't seen of his.
oh man, we're watching that next.
I've seen my
I
favorite
just
movie.
watched it recently.
It's a
My
banger.
favorite movie of his is probably The Beach
Ben,
with Leo.
I don't think Ben will like it.
I think you will.
I love The Beach with Leo. It's my favorite movie of his.
It's a lot, but I think he'll respect the.
He'll ooh and ah it.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll love it.
Slumdog's good. What else?
Oh, I forgot he did Slumdog.
Trance with
Dude,
McAvoy's good.
You guys have to know this, right? My dad
Sunshine.
Sunshine's good.
all the
Cillian?
time will be like, "Did you know Slumdog Millionaire was a love story?"
You told me this. Yeah.
And I'll be like, "What are you doing right
Yeah.
now?" He's like, "I didn't realize it. I felt suckered. They suckered me into watching a love story." And
That was a game show or something?
Well, I don't know. Well, I was like, "What do you mean?" The whole point of the movie is like long love of the other character. Like, what do you?
That's funny.
How do you think he suckered into it?
You guys want to get to ratings on 28 Years Later? I gave it a 7.
Give it a 7.
Okay, I was a 7.5.
Yeah.
I can give it a 7.
Do you guys think watching
If it-
ASAP?
Wasn't for the ending. It
Yeah, honestly, I
really
do
was
think
like-
if that ending was different or just taken out of it, or even if that was like in the credits,
It's not even that it was like.
it wasn't bad.
A bad
It
end, it was
made
totally
no
different.
sense. Like a complete tonal shift of the whole movie.
It was like someone else directed the last 5 minutes, and you're like,
yeah,
that was odd.
I think he did that. I think he knew what he was doing. I
hope so.
think he knew what
He
he
just
was
wanted no one to see
I
the
said I
second one,
have-
so he could be like the top dog.
I'm hoping for the
This
best.
movie's making a killing. You don't care.
I'm hoping for the best, expecting the hoping for the best, expecting the worst of the next movie, so that I'm not disappointed.
I think that'd be funny actually if like he was already signed on to do the third one. He did that at the end of this one to wreck the second one.
Yeah,
and he's
so
like,
that-
I'll come back in the third. I'll fix it. You're screwed now.
It's just
I'm not directing the next one, huh?
He's like telling the studio, good luck with that second one.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you like these movies, you probably have already seen this one.
Yeah. But you guys think watch it ASAP? Watch it whenever or skip it?
I mean, it's a
I'm going to say whenever.
It's a whatever.
Yeah, whenever.
Sophia said she was bored.
That's crazy. Super cool visuals for a horror movie.
Not even, it's almost not a horror movie because of
I know,
it's
that's the
so
thing.
like crazy visually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, guys, that's our review for 28 Years Later. And we'll catch you on the next review later.